All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the deck doc, and according to the color wheel, we are going over the Temur commander deck. And it's funny that this is the first one because Temur is actually my favorite color to play. So I'm actually going to be reviewing one of my favorite decks, and that is Eshki. Let's see if you can see her a little bit better there. Eshki Temur's Roar. She reads, whenever you cast a creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Eshki. If that spell's power is 4 or greater, draw a card. If that spell's power is 6 or greater, then Eshki deals damage equal to her power to each opponent. So what this deck is wanting to do is sling a lot of creatures and kind of combo off and do a lot of damage and kill the table at the same time. A lot of decks I play run into an issue where they're not able to close out the game and maybe kill one or two opponents, but die to the last one. This deck really ensures you get that kill or you get the win at the same time. There are two game changers in here, making it a level 3, but honestly, if you took out those two game changers, which I'll go through, you could easily make this a bracket 2. However, be warned, it will be a very strong bracket 2. And I do think if you play with it, you should let people know. I ended up playing this deck at MagicCon Las Vegas against power level 4 decks, and it ended up winning. So let's go over this deck tech, starting off with some creatures. Now, the first three I'm going to go over, their sole purpose is more utility. So Temur Sabertooth was a very obvious choice for me. You're able to, after you cast one of these creatures, you can bounce it back to your hand for 2, and then play it again, getting the cast trigger all over again. The next one, Outcaster Trailblazer. And this one, really good card as well. It's saying whenever another creature power 4 or greater enters, draw a card. Eshki will also trigger off power 4 or greater, so every time you cast one, you're drawing 2 cards and you are just reloading your hand. The next one here, Shaman of the Great Hunt, great card. It says whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on it. That's not the big thing. The big thing is the activated ability. Pay 2, and Cynic says draw a card for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. I have activated this, paying 4, to draw upwards of 6 or 7 cards. It is very, very good in this deck. After this, most of these cards are going to be filling the requirement for Eshki either on cast, of getting a card, or more importantly, dealing damage to the table at the same time. So I'll go through them kind of quick. Elder Gargoth, great for cards. It's also just a beefy 6/6 blocker and attacker. It's got reach, so it's a really good card to take care of flyers, and it's a good attacker as well. Next we have Traxos, which is only a 4 cost for a 7/7. This will trigger all 3 of Eshki's modes, and you will be casting a lot of legendary creatures, so I'm not too worried about untapping with Traxos. Temur Battlecrier is probably one of the best cards in this deck. It reads, during your turn, spells you cast cost 1 less for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. If you have maybe 1 or 2 out, plus you have Eshki, which at that point, if you've cast 2 creatures, you'll be a 4/4. Traxos will just straight up be free because Temur Battlecrier is also power 4 or greater. It would make it cost 4 less. You cast Traxos, you get another +1 on Eshki, she becomes a 5/5, you draw another card, and then you deal 5 damage to the whole table. This card can let you sling multiple spells in a single turn and is very, very good. Goreclaw, making those 4 power cost 2 less, casting more spells each turn, and it's a 4, so refill your hand. Apex Devastator. Cascade works great with Eshki because you are still casting. So at that point, if you have 10 mana, Eshki's probably a 6/6 or so, and you cast Apex Devastator, she becomes a 7/7, you draw a card, and you cascade 4 times. While it's unlikely that you hit a power 6 or greater creature on all 4, it is possible. This deck is very creature heavy, and so if you were to do that, that would be 7 damage plus 8 damage plus 9 damage plus 10 damage, which is, I believe, 34 damage off cast of Apex Devastator, and that usually just wins the game on the spot. Overlord is a great ramp card, but also it's a 6 power, and so it'll trigger all of Eshki's abilities. Atali, whenever we cast spells, that includes opponents, we still get the trigger, so Atali's great. Serac, I think, is kind of underrated. It's got flash, it can't be countered, and it makes our creature spells not being able to be countered either. Pugnacious Hammerskull, it's a 3 cost for a 6/6. So for only 3 mana, we get to trigger all of Eshki's abilities. Maelstrom Wanderer, also great. Cascade, Selvala just generates so much mana because this deck is a Powers Matter deck. Imaginary Pet is really funny. It's a 2-cost 4/4 that says during your upkeep, if you have a card in hand, return it to your hand. So you cast Imaginary Pet for 2, get Eshki a counter, and draw a card, and at the beginning of the next upkeep, you return it to your hand, and then you can cast it for 2 again, getting another counter on Eshki and drawing another card. So it pretty much just is Temur Sabertooth, but you don't have to pay the activated cost of it. It just guarantees you card draw, or it can also be a good blocker. I mean, it's a 4/4. Chandra's Incinerator is wild. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total amount of non-combat damage dealt to your opponents this turn. You essentially trigger Eshki once, and this card costs 1 red. And it says whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, which is going to be on cast of each power 6 or greater, this will deal that much damage to target creature or planeswalker that player controls. So you are just wiping out your opponents with it, and then you're wiping out their creatures as well. Samsonen, great card, indestructible, hard to get rid of, and it draws you cards. Foretold Soldier is also great because you can cast it for 2 for its foretell cost, still a casting cost, so you get all 3 modes of Eshki, and then whenever you deal combat damage with it, because it can't be blocked by more than 1 creature, you get to foretell it again. So then you just get to foretell every single time. Topiary Stomper, great. Eric's Methes is actually really good because on cast, it's still a creature. It's still a Kraken, and so you'll still get all of the cast triggers from Eshki, and then it becomes a mana rock for you until you can cast enough spells, which isn't a problem in this deck. Vaultborn Tyrant, I think it's the best card to come out of OTJ. Such a great card. Uro's great. Dreamtide Whale. Second spell each turn, Proliferate. Not only proliferating the vanishing counters on it, we're proliferating the +1 counters on Eshki. Force of Savagery. This is just a cast and it goes to the graveyard. It's an 8/0. Pengasaur, same thing. 6/6 for 4. Next one we have is a Sheevan Wumpus. Hold on, let me get this back again. Okay, Sheevan Wumpus. 4 costs for a 6/6. Whenever this comes into play, any player may sacrifice a land. If they do, put this on the top of my library. If you want to sack a land and be behind, be my guest. Otherwise, I'm getting a counter, drawing a card, and dealing damage to the whole table. If you want to put it on top of my library, I'll just cast it again next turn. Ravaging Riftworm, Galta is almost always a 2-cost 12/12. Sulfin is insane because it's going to double up our Eshki triggers, plus you can put an indestructible counter on it, and it's a 5 power, so you get 2 of Eshki's triggers. Argothian Worm, Atali lets us cast things. Hulking Raptor, Ward 2, so it's tough to get rid of, and at the beginning of my first main phase, I add 2 mana, letting us cast more spells. Halana and Elena puts more counters on Eshki. That's basically her only purpose, and is really strong. Do not underestimate the power of just 2 counters, because let's say Eshki, if you cast her, would be a 3/3, immediately goes to a 5/5, and then after that, every time you're casting a 6 power, you're dealing 6, 7, 8, 9 damage to the table. Okay, those are most of the creatures that we've gone through. Next is just support for this. So creature spells you control can't be countered, really great, and they have Riot. Either come in with a +1 counter or haste. Again, creatures you control have haste, but whenever you cast a creature power 4 or greater, draw a card. So this is essentially Eshki, but just in an enchantment. Teferi's Aegis Insight, since we're drawing so many cards, why not double it? Greater Good lets us sacrifice creatures to draw more cards, to keep refilling our hand, to keep slinging spells with Eshki. Then I have a Great Henge, which doesn't need to be explained why it's so good. I have the One Ring, again, no explanations why it's so good. Garruk's Uprising, essentially just another Eshki. And then we have Chandra's Ignition. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each other creature and each opponent. This card will just end the game on the spot if Eshki gets big enough, and I have gotten to a game where Eshki was 12 power. This essentially wipes the board and keeps your massive commander on the table. And it goes really great with this next card, Grafted Exoskeleton. This is the card that won me the game in Las Vegas against Power 4 pods. Someone was at 200 life and ended up infecting them with Eshki off 1 cast of a Maelstrom Wanderer. This card, Ronus' Monument, is really, really good. Green creature spells, which is majority of our creature spells, cost 1 less to cast. And whenever you cast a creature spell, target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains trample. You want to give that to Eshki, because now some of our 3-cost 6/6s only cost 2. And on cast, you have Ronus' Monument trigger first. Eshki becomes a 5/5, or a 4/4. And then you resolve her other trigger off. Your creature coming in becomes a 5/5, draw a card, and then she deals 5 to the table. Since creatures cost 1 less, it's not wild to think, well, I can cast another 3-cost 6 power meaning that Eshki then gets another boost. She becomes a 7/7, and on cast becomes 8/8. Draw another card, deal 8 damage to the table. So off 2 casts, you've already done 13 damage to the table. And if you have the Grafted Exoskeleton, they're just dead. Maelstrom Vortex. Whenever you cast a creature with power 5 or greater, discover X, where X is that spell's mana value. It gets you double casting just for free. This card is so, so good. Sarkhan's Ceiling, also really good. I have a pretty Lightning Greaves in here. The rest of these cards, I believe, if I remember right, is my interaction package and my protection package for Eshki, because she is very oppressive and people want to get rid of her, so let's do our best to protect her. We've got Lightning Greaves in here. We've got a Snakeskin Veil. Again, this is really good because it gives us a +1 counter, which we like, and it gives us hexproof. Sink into Stupor. MDFCs are really good. Obscuring Haze has actually won me the game a lot of times. I really don't win through combat damage, and so it's not common for me just to block with my big creatures, let them die. People are attacking you a lot, and I'm not going to risk putting Eshki in front of them. So Obscuring Haze has come through clutch and actually won me a couple games. Royal Treatment, just like Snakeskin Veil. Jawari Disruption, Counterspell, Stomp, removal spell, because Eshki is really strong. Diplomatic Immunity is a really great card. This enchanted creature can't be the target of spells or abilities, and this also can't be the target of spells or abilities. So this itself has hexproof, and Eshki would have a hexproof. Arcane Denial, Spectral Denial. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature you control, power 4 or greater. Likely going to be 4 or 5. It's going to be a lot of them. Force of Vigor, SpongeBob Counterspell. You gotta have the SpongeBob Counterspell. Bolt Bend is essentially deflecting swap, but this will cost 1. And then we have a ramp package. Sakura Tribe Elder, Gwenna, Soul Ring, Farseek, Bloom Tender, Cultivate, Indus Restoration. And then utility lands. The only one I really had was Mosswort Bridge. And then just to show off some of the fun and cool lands I have in this deck, we have a Galaxy Steam Vents, Breeding Pool, Stomping Grounds, Ketria Triome, City of Brass, Fun Flow Command Tower, and my favorite, the Ancient Tomb. So it's Ancient Tomb and the One Ring that are the game changes in here, and you can easily replace those with any other cards. So this is my Eshki deck. The rest are just basics and utility lands. But I will show the basics actually, because they are the where are they? They are the Kamigawa foil lands, which I really, really love. So anyway, this is my deck tech. Please let me know if you end up building this, any adds or cuts you would make to this deck. It is a lot of fun and very, very powerful. Let me know if you end up building it. And again, here is Eshki one last time. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and stay tuned for the next Color Pie challenge of this Commander series I'm doing, and I'll see you in the next video.